computer. Oh yeah, I like it.
Hey, hi.
Wow, that looks legit. Wait a second. Wait a second. Did you think it was going to be 11:30 your time, not 9:30? Tell the truth.
So here's what happened. Yesterday, you sent a message and you go, "Hey, that's just for Liv." And I'm like, "All right, I'm going to delete it right away without even reading it."
I see.
So I deleted it, and then I lost the thread. And so I went back to check, and I couldn't check. And for some reason, I was thinking later in the week. Anyway, I'm out here on a hike. I could show you where I am, but it's
Well,
crazy.
this is awesome just seeing this. Wow.
You have no
Holy-
idea how far I am from civilization. This
Oh
is
yeah, dude, this is what I like to see. Oh my God.
That looks so
Okay, now I know why. I know why. I mean, Pennsylvania is great and everything, and Peach Bottom is just, it's the delight of it's the delight of the state. But
Of the
Lord
state.
have mercy, Lord have mercy.
but this is a whole different state.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Being able to be basically almost butt-ass naked roaming in nature, almost it seemed like seemingly alone with a view like that, almost seems like paradisical come reality.
It is a dream state, and I have to tell you, I have residual feelings of guilt. Like I gotta take something's wrong. Something's wrong. At some point, this will be taken away from me because I've not karmically earned this. I feel like this is too.
Oh,
good.
I disagree.
no,
I
you
disagree.
showed-
Move out of the way. Look at these books in the background here. I mean,
Yeah, man. I don't know. It feels too good for me. I feel like someday I'm gonna get hauled out of here and taken away someplace else, like Ohio.
well, look, wherever you are, there you are again. You're going to have to find a way to wiggle your, not every day is a great one. Sometimes you got to struggle hard before you can taste the sweet. I mean, let's face it. But being able to get to a place where you can live closer to what you were hoping to do is the aspiration of all kinds of people. And you don't have to go to Hawaii to get it, right? Hawaii is just it's been a continuously focused on dream of people. I'm following this one character, a Stanford University student at the turn of the last century named Ernest Darling, who Jack London ended up writing about, this kind of queer Stanford student who was sickly all the time, and then he thought he was going to die, and he just said, screw it. He basically took his clothes off and went into the woods, started living out there on whatever he could. He stopped being sick. Then he got excited. Oh man, I found something really great. This is San Francisco in the early 1900s.
Yeah.
He starts going around preaching in the streets, barefooted and whatnot. Folks, this is the news. This is it. He gets basically hauled into court, pushed away from me. Finally, he says, okay, I can't take it anymore in civilization. He gets on a boat, gets to Hawaii, gets kicked out of Hawaii, finally ends up in Tahiti, and finds a way to cajole some people into letting, okay, they said, fine, you want that land up there? Nobody can even get to it. The guy scrambles up there, creates an entire oasis of fruit trees, starts inviting people from all over the world, and then one day, when Jack London finally had his money, built his boat, went on his adventure, trying to go see where Herman Melville had been when he wrote the book Typee, stops in this little town in Tahiti, and the motherfucker jumps out of the bushes and says, hey, buddy. And Jack had already done some stories on him. That became, in 1908, the story of that story, called The Nature Man, went out to all this very women's home journal. Like, every woman knew in the world this Nature He-Man that Jack London was supporting, the barefooted guy that didn't wear clothes. He aspired to do what you're doing and innumerable numbers of others. And I say kudos on you, and the karma that you're getting, if you don't feel it, you should, because innumerable numbers of fellow sapiens have benefited from the crazy stories you've woven for us to read. So thank you for that. And I think this is appropriate. I'm talking and you're walking.
Yeah. I figured, you know what? I'm going to turn this. So first of all, I hope I didn't hold you guys up. Because,
no, come on, ridiculous. No.
Because, I got a text from you, and the funny thing was, about an hour earlier on this trail, I bumped into a woman who was lost, and she was about to take a spur that would have taken her in a very bad direction. And we're the only two people out here. And I happen to walk up and she's looking at the spur of the trail. And I passed by and said, good morning. She goes, by the way, will this take me out to Enchanted Lake? I said, no, it won't. It'll take you deep in the woods. Then the trail dies. You want to go this way. So she came with me. And then she and I have been hiking together for an hour. And then a text came from you, Ted. And she's a Born to Run fan. I said, hey, by the way, do you know Barefoot Ted? She's like, of course. Well, I just got a text from him. What a coincidence.
Yeah.
But I hope that wasn't from you saying, hey, dude, it's time to start. Because I just showed it to her and put it back in my pocket.
No, that was, I just was I was just trying to tickle you a little bit to let you know that the time was a-coming, because Lord knows when I've got appointments, if I don't have a couple minders and some other kind of gadgets or gizmos that are reminding me, it's usually the call of the person I'm having an interview with and me trying to pretend like, oh, I was ready for this, no problem. And luckily for me, basically I'm always ready, right? So it's like, whatever, I mean, I can deal with that. But in this tiny preparation, it was easy to prepare for you because I just walked to my bookshelf and I just tore off some books. And I've been collecting Born to Run from all over the world, by the way. I've got Born to Run from all kinds of countries. It's so much fun.
Oh, okay. I've got a couple for you too. Well, I guess you already have the German.
Yeah, I got the German.
I just got some. What the heck did I just get?
Oh, I love collecting,
anyway,
man. I love collecting. It's fun. I just love seeing what it looks like. Barefoot Ted was right, of course, in other languages. It helps build up my ego a little.
Oh, that would make a great graffiti wall of Luna offices. Barefoot Ted was right in all different languages written on the wall.
Yeah, look, they already have enough. They've all been magnetized to the deepest level possible. At some point you can't add any more. You can't put any more magnetism into the stick of iron. It just reaches a equilibrium point and then it's done. But I think that's what great stories do. I think great stories and great visions and sharing, so many people share their lives going outdoors and whatnot. And I think one aspect of it is that you are taking, when you're taking in those views, it's just the spaciousness. It's really the exhilaration of being able to see such a wide open space. I think it's good for the soul. I mean, literally. So I think more people can do that. It's not always adventuring in Hawaii, but I mean, just discovering your own neighborhood on your own feet when you've never done it before suddenly becomes an adventure too. The urban hikers and stuff like that would come through Seattle and they would tell me about things I had no idea existed because they were out there examining it like an adventurer, taking some risks, going the wrong turn.
It's funny because I didn't really want to leave. I was on the fence, I would say, about leaving Peach Bottom because, you've been out there. We have all those little trails all around. And there's a creek in front of the house. And it had a little swimming hole. And it was maybe 5 feet across and about 3 feet deep. And there was a swimming hole in the creek. And I was in that swimming hole every day up until November when it was just beyond my capability. And we were getting ready to move here. I was telling my wife, I don't know, man. I'm not sure if I can really leave this behind. And she's like, you cannot leave your little puddle in the creek. That's what you're holding on to. But if that's your world and you find that piece of nature, no matter what it is, even if it's a little dog park. Here's the thing. So I was on a run in Lancaster, the city of Lancaster, and I came across a dog park. I made a mental note, always run by dog parks. There's so much going on in any dog park in the world. The dogs have their own relationships and societies, and the owners are doing their thing. And whoever designed the park had a vision in mind. Some of them have tarp canopies. Some of them have astroturf. And I just made this thought to myself of wherever you are in the world, if you find a dog park, you found a little corner of happiness. You just got to drink.
Man, so true, so true. Right? Man, that's a great. Yeah, I mean, dog parks have got to be, and that's what is a dog park about? It's letting people go free and then watching the controlled chaos ensue. Suddenly it's like this self-forming systems. You don't know what to predict, but most animals, even the ones that aren't so, kind of messed up, suddenly somehow the movement of a bunch of fellow friends who aren't attacking you and having a good time it's contagious. It's addictive. So I guess we got to make more people do that. I think that's what your book really is about ultimately. helping people realize if you're going to be so good to your dog, you might as well take care of yourself too. What the hell?
Born to run. We're born to run. Welcome to the dog park.
Yeah. Well, what, you got a book in mind for dog parks now? I mean, it wouldn't be a bad one.
Dude, like the wheels are always turning. So just today, it's kind of a dog park experience. That woman I was telling you about that almost went off the wrong trail.
Oh,
So I said, well, I'm going this way if you're interested. And so we just spent the past hour together and we had a blast. Dude, you would love her. She is a soft tissue therapy specialist, works with a lot of injured athletes, but her brain is constantly spinning. She's very small and she started doing Brazilian jiu-jitsu, and she found that she's very good at it because her stress response levels are very dialed in, because part of dealing with soft tissue damage is getting people to understand how to breathe through it, how to relax, how to open up the chains of movement. Because, usually where you're injured is because you insist on moving a certain way as opposed to opening your body. Anyway, so I'm talking to her and she's telling me about how she uses her experience treating soft tissue damage in other people to make her really good at Brazilian jiu-jitsu, because whenever she gets into a grip that she can't break, she relaxes, she breathes through it, she waits until her body calms, and then she thinks her way out of trouble. And listening to her, I'm like, I feel like an entire book is being dictated to me, using combat response to train your body for just all around well-being.
Oh man, I mean, look, it is the greatest anytime, and that is epical. I mean, just the idea that and many people experience this, but it often is the trails. You just get somehow the movement itself is getting the mind in like a rhythm, and then when you add something to the rhythm, it's almost like you got improvisational jazz now. And then if you got two people, they're breathing, they're in this epical kind of environment. It's nature therapy, it's talk therapy, all happening at the same time. And bing, bang, boom, you suddenly get a new perspective that speaks to you. And then you know that you can speak about it and share it with people like you just did there. And it's like, it's an important, those little insights, those little nuggets keep us all going. Sharing those nuggets, distributing those nuggets, so forth. That's awesome. That's a great way to be able to live.
Well, speaking of well-being, how are you living? You guys been through some punches.
Lord have mercy. I mean, the end of last year, Chris, it was like our Turkish trip, which was a dream come true. We literally wrote down our idea on a napkin on our first date 10 years, almost to the day before, when we got on this boat with 6 intrepid travelers. And we literally went and had the greatest experience we'd ever had in our lives. We looked in each other's eyes and said to each other, this is the greatest day of our life, more than one time during that period of the time when we were on the boat. Then we, as you know, several things started, it's almost like grace. You went from one high and you flip, I mean, you literally re-rolled all the way to the other side, and we had to deal with some outrageous, impossible to accept, but nonetheless real tragedies that we had to face, one on top of the other. And the one was our dear dog Yogi got sick, and we were in the midst of trying to figure out what was wrong with him and what we could do about it. And so we had found, thankfully, a very good pet hospital, and we had some top, and these were not slouches or not top modern, it was really a top level place. But whatever it was that was troubling Yogi, they were having trouble figuring it out. And it still actually ends up being a mystery to this day. But the long and short of it is, a few days before he died, and he did die, and that's one of the tragedies because he was like a child of ours, basically, was my own cousin, 54 years old, swaying a golf club, fell to the ground, never to revive. He had people on top of him just like that, trying to get his heart going, right into a hospital, and just never, ever came back. And it was like, he had just the day before seen a video of mine of this beautiful trip, and I was telling him about the land there, and he was writing back saying, oh, and he wanted to be on the trip with us, by the way. He just couldn't make it this year. And he was writing, oh, you know, that land looks great. Can you own it? And then, oh, I sure hope Yogi's doing better. 2 days later, I'm getting a phone call at 4 a.m. My cousin, who is basically like my brother, you know, like another brother. We literally grew up. I mean, literally from when he was a baby. Our first encounter was, he was like 2 months old. I stuck my finger in his mouth because I wanted to feel, I'd heard that babies don't have teeth. And I felt the gum and it was like, wow, that's trippy. And then he clamped down and I had to slap him. And then there was, you know, our first encounter. And then the other one was when I was 11 and he was 8. It's really when I became, it was kind of almost the dare that made me become Barefoot Ted. We were staying at my aunt's place in Reno, Nevada. This is in like 1975. And behind her house was just desert. We made a commitment to each other to spend the month to not take a shower, not comb our hair, and not wear shoes. And we accomplished that. Then we got on a bus at 11 and 8 from Reno, Nevada to Los Angeles and rode by ourselves. Now, this is an insane story, but it set us up for knowing that we could do anything. And well, we did everything until that day.
Yeah.
So yes, hard times.
I like the fact that all you changed is you started showering again. Otherwise, no more combing the hair, no more wearing the shoes. You've adopted 2 out of the 3 lessons.
Well, you know, when you're on the boat in the Mediterranean, amigo, I'm telling you, every day you just get up and you plop into the, I mean, yeah, I mean, I rinsed off and so forth and so on, but I'm telling you, it wasn't a bad idea. We ended up learning so much wandering in the desert in our bare feet, including I have a scar on one of my feet where I got cut by something, and my aunt at the time, as sophisticated as she was, took my foot, put it in a bathtub, and poured hydrogen peroxide on it, and then a Band-Aid. And that was how it worked back then.
Honestly, God, I probably would have done the same thing. I might have added some super glue, but otherwise, same technique.
Well, anyway, we wrangled you up because we're excited about your new book. We're happy. I think it's really, you know, you've touched so many people in so many different ways with your book, but of course, Born to Run's the one that's probably been, I don't know, probably the greatest, most well-known story you have. Of course, you've got a bunch of other great ones that people love and are, you know, are fans of for sure. But Born to Run definitely sparked a lot of fascination and really basically created a whole new space in the world vision of what it means to be a human being. You opened a whole new door, and so many people took that in so many different ways. And I think it really was a moment in history that touched a lot of people and continues, as we know, to like, I mean, I know you're regularly, me too, getting people writing into this day, oh, I read Born to Run, oh my gosh, well, you know, I can't wait to, and so forth and so on. So I think it's just extremely timely that all these years later, you were able to, like, working with Eric Orton, pull together something that people can use. People need something. They want something. And I've always been, people say, Ted, you got to write a book about running. Ted, it's like, oh, Lord have mercy. I already got too many things I got to do that I want to do. And on top of it, I've been trying to grow a sandal business and I didn't know nothing about doing business. So now I'm having to sort of like backwards, forwards, go into the getting that. And as I get that more dialed in, maybe I'll do more interesting things. But one thing I can do with certainty is at least tell the world about, hey, here's a book that Born to Run 2, I should probably bring it up, that I think what's super cool, it's the book that everybody wanted when Born to Run came out. They wanted a picture book, didn't they? I mean, they would have loved to have seen all the pictures and get some idea about what's going on. But just having a book that's going to like inspire people to get outside and move, and then give them some good hints by trusted people who have been around for a while. I think that was a very good move, and I'm excited that we are carrying it, and I'm excited for the people who are sort of like getting a chance to like, hey, I can give this a try myself, and you should, whoever you are out there. So what led up to this book, and what are people saying about it? What's the feedback you're getting out on the streets?
You know, it's funny because you're right. People did want a training book. People asked for pictures, but I also feel very relaxed that we made the right choices at the right time. I think Born to Run there's a lot of influence, a lot of pressure on me to put pictures in Born to Run because Lewis had all those amazing pictures.
That's right.
I just felt like it's going to be a mistake, because I wanted the story to live in people's minds. I didn't want them to see what Barefoot Ted looks like. I wanted them to imagine a Barefoot Ted. I wanted Barefoot Ted to be whatever they saw him to be, and Jen Shelton. Jen Shelton can be, if you don't show people something, they're going to find something from their own lives that they can relate to. So I bet you people in Bulgaria envision Jen Shelton very different than someone in Japan.
Oh
someone
yeah,
close to them.
okay, I see. Yeah, that's brilliant. I see you.
Everybody,
yeah, you're a writer
right?
after all. You're going to help them use the juices inside themselves to make the imagery.
Like everybody knows a Jen, like Jen Shelton, Billy Barnett, but your Billy Barnett looks different than my Billy Barnett. And so if I interrupt that and I force a Billy Barnett on you, well, then it takes you one step away from associating with the story. So I really wanted this to live in people's brains, the movie create their own movie, direct their own movie in their brain. And that's what I felt at the time. I was very adamant. And then for years afterwards, just kind of put my foot down, all the re-editions, no pictures, no pictures. I finally bent with Running with Sherman because I felt like you can't do a book about a sick donkey without showing the sick donkey. Like, you just can't do it. You got to show this animal. And so that's why I decided in this book, let's go ahead and do it. But then now for Born to Run 2, I was thinking about a couple different things. Number one thing that Ted, I'm kind of shocked has not changed since Born to Run was I really felt like I would write Born to Run and very quickly it would get blown away by lots of other better books doing the same thing, like showing running adventures, but really opening up the window for lots of other non-traditional runners to show up. Because that's really what was cool about our group was it was a weird crew that was only together under no other circumstances would we be sitting on the same bus together. And to me, when I look around now, I see all kinds of really cool people of color, people, gender non-binary, all kinds of cool people. To me, those are the interesting runners. And it shocks me to this day, like you just don't see them depicted in the running world. It's just the same old white dudes. It's the same old girls with ponytails. And so for Born to Run 2, I want to accomplish a few goals at the same time. Like number one, I wanted to show people a very simple, easy way they can make running fun and healthy. Like you do not have to feel that running is bad for you. It can be fun. And I feel like you and I are living proof. We were told a long time ago, running's bad for us. We had pain association, and then we blew it away. So I wanted to show running's fun, running's easy, running's joyful. And I wanted to show that there are so many people out here doing it that if you do this sport, you're going to meet a Karma, you're going to meet a Jenna Crawford, you're going to meet a Ted, you're going to meet all these cool people. So I wanted their faces in the book. But I got to just say one more thing. You came out to Colton for that photo shoot, right? What is it about this sport that allows these little fun tribes to arrive? Because you knew very few of those people, but didn't you feel like they were your brothers and sisters in 10 minutes?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think the more I reflect, it's so well said. I totally agree. And it's kind of like, actually, I've been riffing on that a lot lately. Because I've been going down now. I've been able to be on lots of little mini adventures as kind of like a mentor down into that space. And that's beautiful, by the way. And one of the things I keep noticing is this: when you bring people together who don't really know each other yet, they're all sort of vulnerable together. And then they're in a place they've never been before. So they're kind of vulnerable together there. And there's nature and there's dangers and there's all this. And there's this natural way that people bond together. It doesn't matter. It's just like, it's in our genes, that's one of the things I start realizing. When you get things down to the fundamentals, human beings moving through a terrain in nature, sharing time with each other, equally vulnerable, there's a bonding that occurs. And I think that's why, and I've been really looking into it. I see many of these events that we go to. Another tradition that's part of the human condition are pilgrimages. People get together to go somewhere. And, they all have their different reasons why they're going. Maybe, who knows what it is. Maybe they need to pray. Maybe they've been told to do something. Maybe they just want to have an adventure, whatever it is. but then they find themselves going together. And in that process, I mean, Chaucer's Canterbury Tales is a great, old, and it's like suddenly you have these people moving together in nature, vulnerable together, and telling stories. And Lord have mercy, that when you get you enrich yourself so much when you start hearing stories from the storyteller about their authentic view of the world from themselves, their own, and you can take it. Maybe if you were seeing it in a tweet or you were seeing it, but when you're with people together, moving together, you're not that idiot on Twitter anymore.
Say hi to Barefoot Ted. What's up, Barefoot Ted?
Woo!
Thanks, guys. Sorry, my new friends on the trail just passing by.
Nice.
But Ted, the whole comedy movie, like the road trip movie. There's been a million road trip movies, right? And they're comedies, but they're touching on exactly what you said. It's two people who get thrown into a situation where they're on the road, they're cut off from their familiar surroundings, and they have to learn about each other and teach each other about their own worldview. But yeah, it's become a classic way of people bonding is by putting them on the road together.
Oh, totally. And I think so more and more and more, I'm starting to realize, I've been able, I've been in this quote unquote business or in this process of creating more, as Escobar says, opportunities, but I'd never been, I hadn't been reflecting on how important it is to actually create more and more and more of these things. And that's what I've seen with your book. You've been going around and literally you're joining into groups and sort of like using running and moving together in nature is just so like fundamentally part of the human condition and has been for so long that it just feels natural when you're there. And I guess that's it, and so encouraging and setting up excuses for people to do that more and more. I'm trying to get it also find the same kind of setting, but try to make it less competitive. So many of the events are either too grand. I mean, it's great. I want a million different flavors. As many flavors as people will enjoy eating, let's make them. We don't have to have a limit on them, but more experiences. I look forward to more experiences where I'm with a small group of people and we're moving on our own 2 feet or whatever methods together to get through a territory and having a good time doing it. I think it's so simple. It's just the simplest thing, but it's also the richest thing. It's just crazy how it works like that.
It would be ironic, Ted, is if this conversation ends with me walking off the edge of a cliff.
Please don't do that. Thank you. No. That would be a terrible way to have a great video.
Hey, rainstorm is blowing through.
Okay.
But we'll keep going.
Well, let's what we're gonna do. Okay. Well, I think we got some very nice. The whole point of this is we're sending out a newsletter, and we wanted to have something special for the people when they see that we've got Born to Run 2 in the store. And so Liv thought, my wife and CEO of Luna Sandals, you should let Chris tell his story. So I think we got some pretty good stories here. But my gardener's coming here with a blowing thing. Hold on one second. Oh, you can't hear him.
Oh, dude, get those banned. Will you please get those outlawed across the world? They are so noisy and useless.
Noisy and useless. Well, believe it or not, there's some in California. I was going to be concerned about it, but then I realized this dude's got the modern one. You can't even hear it. It's an electric one. Yeah, anyway, in California they can't use water.
Yeah.
Anyway, here's the thing. We're excited about the book. We're excited about. This is just the beginning of. We use this as an excuse to get your butt on film and have us talking, but it's just the beginning. I really look forward to in the coming, this year in particular, and in the coming years, to just keep this riff going, introduce more and more people to, what you're doing, and then also start getting people excited about different events where they can, in the future, meet up with us and actually shoot the breeze with us. Because,
for instance.
We've got 9 trails coming March 18th.
That's why I'm out here right now, dude. That's why I'm out here right now. Literally, these runs and hikes I've been doing are specifically to train for that. Hey, do you think it's going to happen, or will it be postponed? What's going on?
Well, we had some amazing storms and it's been fabulous for California. I mean, apart from, the things where it's not fabulous, but having lots of water is very, very good. And we're filling up a lot of reservoirs and it's really good for California. They, to be err on the side of caution, they're not letting a lot of people up on the trails right now. And they tentatively set the date to reopen as March 14th, which is 4 days before the race. My guess is, unless there's some other really radical storms or something like that, and I don't think that's in the cards, we're going to be good to go. So no matter what, I'm sure there's going to be something here. That date was a little scary, though. It's like, holy crap.
Right?
Okay,
I know, coming right around the corner.
But those mountains behind there, oh my gosh. I'm telling you, I mean, I don't know if yours are, Hawaiian mountains are one thing. You've got more tropical in the greens. The mountains here and behind Santa Barbara are that California sort of like, you've got the browns and the greens and the pinks and then you've got these ups and downs, and that's what the 9 Trails is. That's why we're super lucky. You and I and Escobar are only doing the 17-mile back portion. The out and back, leave that for the youngins. It's like 36 miles that feels like 50. Forget about it, man. I want 36 miles that feels like 10. Give me that. 36 miles that feel like 50? No.
I was reading Lewis's own description, like, dude, why did you ask me to do this and then also show me that description? Because there's no way I would sign on for that. But I don't know. The way it sounds now, by the way, the fact that it's raining now makes it so much more fun. Like, I'm getting all this like cool breeze and little drops of water. And
dude, how old are you? How old are you now?
You know what, dude? In 3 days, I'll be 61. How about that?
Dude. Okay. That's awesome. That's awesome because we didn't think we'd be doing this.
What's that?
We didn't think we'd be I mean, when we were young people, 61-year-old people were people basically on medication ready to die.
Yep. And so that's to me what Born to Run 2 is. It was that realization, like, oh shit, I'm 60. And what Eric told me 15 years ago was true. He said, hey man, if you change the way you run, you can do this forever. I'm like, yeah, well, we'll see. And I just kept doing it. And time had passed. And I realized, hey, I'm still doing it. Like, I'm still out here. And when I walk out the door, it's exactly what I want. I want to go in any direction I want, as far as I want, whenever I feel like it.
Wow. Well, I think that gift is got to be more. If it's available, you should take it, folks. That's basically the story. Uh-oh. I think I just lost him. That's okay. His phone died. Do you think it was good? Do you think his phone just turned off? He might have lost power. Oh, you can text him and see if he's still in. Okay, sorry. I didn't mean to bother you. No worries, dear heart. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. Oh, here he comes. Oh, good. Dude, you freaked me out. You didn't fall off a cliff, did you?
Yeah, not used to using it. I probably should get off pretty soon.
Yeah. Okay, let's wrap this up. So what do you have to say? What do you want to tell people about this book? I mean, what's your pitch for this baby? Because I could give it, but you're the author. Tell me what you think.
What do you think about this, Ted? This is the book that I wish I had. Like, if I knew this stuff, if I knew how to run properly, if I knew not to rely on shoes but my own natural biomechanics, if I knew that there were a couple simple little like exercises that would let me get in touch with my own body's natural biomechanics, I would have been a happy person. Also, if I'd learned that fun and family and camaraderie are way more important and way more sustaining than competition, that would have made me a happy man. You know what Rich Roll said? He goes, I think he said, pain and toughness are not sustaining energy sources, not sustainable energy sources. And that's what so many people look at running as. But you and I look at it as a chance for fun. And the fact that I feel like that's the proper attitude means that 60 some years old, right, dude? We're out there having a good time, feeling as strong as we did 15 years ago. I can't hear you, Ted. I lost audio.
Damn. I
there
was
we go.
saying this. I'll end it with this. I'm
All
saying I'm going to turn 60 next year. And I've been saying 60 is the new 21. It takes a long time to become mature these days. You know, the world's changed, things are changing. And we've learned so much about what it means to be a human being that they weren't telling us back then. And
I
so
know, dude.
I'm really feeling 60 is the new 21. So I'm almost an adult, and I'm really proud to see that you've become an adult, Chris. That's fabulous.
Well, here's how I'm celebrating my 21st birthday. Look at this. Look at this awesome climb. And it goes all the way across there to where you see the daylight and back down the other side. That's gonna be my birthday present to me.
Dude, you're my new hero again. And I'm gonna sum it up by saying thank you for taking the time, Chris. Say hello to your family. Tell them that we're excited to see, well, we're excited to see Mika in a couple months.
Yeah.
And we're just super excited about your book, and we hope people get out there and get themselves a copy and go outside and have a good time. Because if you're living in a body and you've got a world outdoors, probably you need to go explore it a little bit if you want to be healthy and happy. That's what we've discovered. So there you go. Thank you, Chris, so much. Keep having a great rest of your run, and we'll catch up again here real soon. There's no doubt about that.
Next hike, Ted. Call me back the next hike.
Absolutely. Okay. I just might do that. You know, I am persistent.
All right, Ted. Bye, Liv.
All right, amigo. Adios.
You guys. Adios.